Hello, everyone. Hello. Welcome to IPSI's weekly forum on Israel, Africa, and Black America. I am your host, Joshua Washington, the executive director of the Institute for Black Solidarity with Israel. And I hope everyone can see me okay. I see the video going on my end, but if you guys can see me okay, then that's fantastic. And welcome. If this is your first time checking us out at IPSI, you can follow us. You can check us out at our website, ibsi.org. See what we do, why we do what we do, some of the founding documents that launched IPSI. You can also go to our Substack and you can see our articles, our writings, our podcast episodes. Go to ibsi.substack.com. That's where we have our Africa Israel weekly newsletter. And you can also, if you do know who we are and you want to support us, you can become a legacy builder. A legacy builder is someone who gives monthly to IPSI. We set it up so that you can give a small amount if you want, $18, $36 a month, $100 a month if you can, $200 a month, whatever it is. It's a regular donation monthly. Go to ibsi.org/donate to be a legacy builder. And one last way that you can support IPSI is by visiting our merch store. We have lots of merchandise. We have mugs, we have t-shirts, we have journals, we have all kinds of stuff so that you can have something to show for your support for the Institute for Black Solidarity with Israel. All right, so just a few announcements. We'll have a video for you later for some of this other stuff. But good evening, Pastor Matrilla. It's good to see you, ma'am. Shout out to Pastor Matrilla Hall. She's with our IPSI pastors. And she's amazing. She's amazing. We have some stuff coming up in Atlanta actually this year, multiple things. And so we'll be working with her. And I got to actually reach out to you soon, Pastor Matrilla. First announcement, February the 1st, we have an amazing event happening at Valley Beth Shalom near the Los Angeles area of California called Africa to Israel, Our Bridge to Zion. It is a musical event like no other. It's a part of Valley Beth Shalom's concert series. I'll be performing as Joe Davi. That's my artist name. Pastor Dumisani Washington, our CEO and founder, will be speaking. He'll probably also be singing with us because we'll have the full band. We'll have our singers will be teaming up with VBS's choir with Cantor Jackie. It's going to be such an amazing, you guys, listen, if you are in SoCal, you got to come out to this February 1st. I'm even performing songs that I hardly ever get to perform from my previous album, Zion. And it's going to be nice and epic because we have so many other people collaborating with us on this. It's going to be amazing. So February 1st, if you're in Los Angeles, shout out to LA, come out. We'll be in Encino, California, Valley Beth Shalom, February 1st. And then a little side note, that next day I have my own kind of private show in Beverly Hills. So if you want to know more about that, you can reach out to me separately. February 12th through the 15th. This is the one where next week we'll have a video for you, but I think we just have the flyer up there now. We have our Young Leaders Conference, our first one ever. This is hosted by the Let Africa Go movement. IPSI is obviously one of the sponsors of this event as well. This is happening in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. We will be in Ethiopia on February 12th through the 14th, for this Young Leaders Conference this year. It's going to be amazing. We're going to have young African and African American leaders, African in the diaspora, leaders from all over the world, descending upon Ethiopia to have these very crucial conversations, to make these connections. It's going to be so incredible. You guys, it's the first one of its kind. We're already planning the second one because there's so much that's already there in terms of everything that we always discuss here at our forums, and whether it's counterterrorism, security, food security, irrigation, business, commerce, all those types of things. The future is Israel, Africa. And this conference is just going to be a microcosm of the massive movement that is taking place right now on a geopolitical scale. So Young Leaders Conference 2026. You can also support IPSI as we're putting this on by donating to IPSI and helping us move forward in that. Okay, and then let's see. The last thing is, our CEO and founder is in Israel right now for the annual conference on combating anti-Semitism in Jerusalem. He also is having some other meetings there as well. He'll talk more about that when he's back. And he just wants to give a shout out and say, hey, lots of work is being done, especially this past year. Um, our CEO and founder has really been shouldering even more than normal, as I was on a kind of semi hiatus after our former board member and Speakers Bureau chief Olga Mishway Washington passed away, as many of you know, January of last year. So there's a lot going on. As a matter of fact, just about 3 weeks ago, I was in Israel for her yard site, or for her 1 year, the 1 year of her passing, which on the Gregorian calendar, it's her 1 year. Her 1 year on the Hebrew calendar is more significant to me because that was the day that we got married on the Hebrew calendar. So she died 7 years to the day that we got married. But on the Gregorian calendar, it was January the 6th. That's when I was there. Viewed her headstone. It was beautiful, and got to spend some time there with some very dear friends, and got to get some plans together for being in Israel later this year, which I'll share with you as things come together. All right. So we have some stuff to talk about today. I wasn't sure which one I was going to address first, but producer, I'm actually going to start with what's supposed to be last. I'm going to start with that one first. And that is because I just feel I need to. So, ladies and gentlemen, as of today, for the first time since 2014, there are no more Israeli hostages in Gaza. For the first time since 2014. Okay. So this predates October 7th, when everyone says, oh, October 7th didn't happen in a vacuum. You're absolutely right. It didn't happen in a vacuum. There's been terrorism against Israel since pre-1948. There's terrorism against Jews that have been living in the land. Okay. So since 2014, there have been Israeli hostages in Gaza. Everything from during wartime, people who were just kidnapped by people in Gaza who happened to hop the border, to there was an Ethiopian young man who has mental inabilities, and he was walking one day and he got captured by Hamas and was taken and held hostage for close to a decade. There's just different stories like that for years and years. And so for the first time today since 2014, there are no more hostages, dead or alive, left in Gaza. The very last body that was recovered, his name is Ran Gvili. He was recovered. His body was recovered. Now imagine, Hamas was keeping not just live hostages, but dead hostages. He was a police officer, and he helped with the medical stuff. On October 7th, he was captured. Eventually he was killed, and his body was held hostage all the way until now. So it's a everything seems to be bittersweet these days. It's a bittersweet time. Obviously, that is a good thing that for the first time in 12 years there are no hostages, Israeli hostages in Gaza. But then you can just imagine the turmoil and what it does to you, to your psyche. How do you even grieve when you can't even lay your loved one to rest, because whether alive or dead, they're still trapped in the place that captured them, right? So we're happy. This is also kind of a personal point for me because, again, for those who don't know, on October 7th, 2023, when Hamas invaded Israel and declared war by slaughtering a bunch of people and kidnapping a bunch of people, raping a bunch of people, and torturing a bunch of people, my late wife, Olga Mishway Washington, was in Israel. She was landing in Israel. She was on a flight because she was invited to Israel by I think it was JN. I don't want to say the wrong organization, sorry, but she was invited to Israel to receive an award for her advocacy in her Africa Israel work. And as the plane was landing, it kept circling back around and circling back around. Olga then texted us and said, something's going on. The pilot won't let us know what's happening right now, but something feels off. We keep circling around and circling around, and we're not landing. That's when we found out what was happening. Well, Olga, Israel's under attack. That's why. And she was stuck there for about 4 or 5 days. She made a few videos from Israel. It's still on her Instagram page now. And she was able to team up with her close friends and put together an initiative to get women and children, to get cancer patients, to get people who are unable to fight out of Israel. And she was able to get a large number of people out of Israel. And that's one of the things that she did when she was there. She just happened to be there. And so to see that this hostage, Ron Gvili, he was one of the hostages that was taken on October 7th. So to see a conclusion to the October 7th hostages happening today, when October 7th started, when my wife was alive, and for those of you who've lost someone close to you, for me at least, it was just a little bit over a year ago that she died. But when I think about just a year ago, when she was just over a year ago when she was alive, it feels like a lifetime ago sometimes. Like the way that my brain categorizes it. And so to think that October 7th happened when she was alive, and the last hostage from October 7th has now been recovered, the body's been recovered a year after her passing, is crazy. It is crazy. We are happy. We rejoice. Our hearts are still very heavy. And, as always, Israel still has to be on the ball. We're going to talk about some of that now. Okay. So praise God that the last body's been recovered. You guys, there's been a lot going on in North Africa, and we are going to talk about it. For those who follow other influencers on social media, IShowSpeed is one of the biggest YouTube influencers in the world. He just surpassed 50 million YouTube subscribers. He's one of the few who have that many. Very, very few. He's part of a very elite group of people. I think he's the first Black influencer to surpass 50 million subscribers as well. Okay. IShowSpeed, he decided to do a 20-country tour in Africa. And his reason was that he wants the world to see Africa for who she really is. He just wants the world to see Africa for who she really is. Growing up, and I used to talk about this with my late wife, right? She talked about it from her perspective growing up in South Africa. I talked about it from my perspective growing up here in America. It's the same thing. And she also spent years in America when she was growing up in different parts of her childhood. So she can see it from both ends as well. She said whenever Africa was depicted in pop culture, especially in the 90s and early 2000s, it was always huts, pot-bellied kids who can't eat any food, who are starving, and tribesmen. And she said, yeah, that's the thing. It's like there are, obviously, whenever Africa is depicted, you see people in the bush. She's like, yeah, we have bushmen in Africa, but it hardly was ever shown to Americans as these metropolitan cities and businesses and people who wear modern clothes and suits and dresses and who drive cars and who trade stocks and have grocery stores and go to clubs and go to churches and like churches with air conditioning and all that stuff. Africa was never depicted that way. And so a lot of our perception of Africa comes from that, and it's very, very skewed. And so IShowSpeed, I think he's 20 or 21 years old. He said, look, I want the world to see Africa for what it is. So he did a tour. He went to Eastern Africa, Southern Africa, Western Africa. One of the most notable videos, one of my favorite videos, was him live streaming from Ethiopia. And producer, I have that link there. If you can show that link, it says IShowSpeed in Ethiopia. I just want to show you this clip. It's so cool. But he shows us a clip from Addis Ababa. And
the nightlife of Ethiopia. I'm about to show y'all a drone shot of Ethiopia. It looks crazy at night. All right, go ahead. Go to drone. Go to drone. Go to drone. Show ahead. Go to drone. Go to drone, man. This is the nightlife in Ethiopia. Why the drone still right there? Go, drone. Go. What is he doing? Yeah. Chat, do y'all see it? I can't even tell if they seen it or not. But chat, this is the nightlife of Ethiopia, chat.
Confirm. They saw it?
Nightlife of Ethiopia.
They still on.
This is insane. Is it still on there?
Yeah, it's still on there.
Oh my gosh, y'all.
When you want us to switch back. We're back for a second.
Holy crap, that looks crazy. Yo, Ethiopia nightlife looks insane, bro. Holy guacamole, bro. W's in the chat, bro. W's in the stream, bro. W's in the stream, bro.
Don't show that.
Nice. W's in the chat, bro. This is beautiful, bro. Holy crap, bro. Ethiopia is so beautiful. Holy yo, y'all see this chat? Y'all see Ethiopia, bro? This is insane. Oh my gosh. We're on top of this building right now. That is insane, G.
I just love that video. I love that video. I've been to Ethiopia once. We'll be back there again in a few weeks. I've been to South Africa many times. I've been to Egypt once. This year, God willing, the boys and I will be in West Africa at some point. Another Eastern Africa country like Kenya. Africa is a beautiful continent. Africa is beautiful, and that's something that my late wife and I would talk about a lot. She would say that Africa is so beautiful, and often people don't get to really see that side of Africa. Ethiopia is that beautiful. The nightlife is on and cracking. Last time I was there, I had the kids with me in the hotel we were staying in. I heard some live Afrobeat reggae music, like a live band playing just in the next building over from me. And I was like, man, the boys are asleep. I was like, man, if someone was here to watch them, I would go over there right now, just check out what's going on, because it's live. Like, it really is. And that was his heart. IShowSpeed's heart was, I want people to see Africa. Now, he then in his travels, he goes to Northern Africa. And what happens there, and we made a whole video about this, which we want you to share, but because I'm here talking to you now, I'm not going to share the video, because the video is of just me talking to you, and we're talking now. Let's have a conversation. IShowSpeed and his team, they go to Algeria, they go to Morocco, they go across North Africa, and what they experience there, especially in Algeria, which is where we're focusing on today, is racism. They were faced with aggression. There was a lot of trash and stuff thrown at them while they were at the AFCON soccer match between Nigeria and Algeria. People were shouting obscenities at him and calling him the N-word, all that stuff. And I think I have the video for that as well. Just a clip from that, producer. If you can share that Algeria clip, I want to show you, by contrast, how IShowSpeed was treated in Algeria versus Ethiopia. So go ahead and play it.
All right. I'm about to leave, y'all. I ain't gonna lie.
Hey, calm down. Oh, they on the camera. No camera. Let's get out there. Huh? Wait, it's okay. Okay.
Get out of here. Let's get out of here. I'm leaving. We are out, bro.
Guys, move out the way.
We leaving, chat. They keep throwing water. What? They throwing stuff?
Turn stone.
Ah, shit. Why they throwing stuff? Ah. Oh, hell no. What they throwing?
Don't panic.
I'm not even on a rivalry team. I'm not even a rival. I support United. Hey, don't throw water, bro. Don't throw water. Don't throw no water. It's at 5 o'clock.
Do you see that in contrast, ladies and gentlemen? Now, there's controversy. People in Algeria and other North African, or I should say Arabs who are living in North Africa, say, oh, there was other stuff going on. He was doing things that weren't great. They were unseemly at the game, and people were just responding to him doing that. Okay, first of all, he was streamed the whole time, so we could just look and see, right, what's going on. But also, how does that explain him being called the N-word? As you heard it, if we play it again, you can hear it. While he's riding down the street, he's riding the street in a car, and people are shouting the N-word at him and calling him that. Okay, now, the reason why this is so significant, ladies and gentlemen, is not just because I want to show you some racism, right? I'm not trying to show you that there's some, racist people. Oh, that's my son's sticker he left somewhere. Let me show you some racist people. Let me show you some Arabs that can be racist. Yeah, there's a huge problem, culture of racism in the Arab world when it comes to Black Africans, Blacks in the diaspora. Absolutely. But the deeper thing is that what you're seeing here is it's an outgrowth of how Blacks are not only seen, but treated. In Algeria, there are still Black African slaves. All across the Arab world, there are Black African slaves. Some of the slaves are Christian, some of the slaves are Muslim. But one thing you have in common is that the majority of them are Black Africans, and the majority of the slave owners are Arab Islamists. So the way IShowSpeed was treated, he was one of the biggest YouTube stars in the world. Everyone all over the world knows him. Children were crying to run up to him and hug him in Ethiopia. When he went to Mozambique, South Africa, kids were in tears that he would come and visit them and be with them and hang out with them and dance with them and eat with them. We went to Ghana. I saw a really cool video, him in Ghana. I mean, that people were so happy to see him. He goes to Algeria. They know who he is, but he's still an Abid. Abid is the Arabic word for slave, and that's the word they use for Black people. Linguistically, ladies and gentlemen, there is no other word in Arabic for a Black person than slave. That would be like here in the US in 2026, Black people are still being called niggers because that's the only word that we have in America to describe a Black person. See how deep that goes? As things progress, language progress. People say African American, Black Americans, American of African descent, and African American descendant of slavery, whatever, right? But imagine we had none of those words and we still only had those derogatory ones. Imagine if slave was the word. That's what it is in everywhere across the Arab world, including in Gaza. In Gaza, there's a small town in Gaza that's where they call Afro-Palestinians or the Black Palestinians live, and they call that town Al Abid, or slave town, or the slave group. So what IShowSpeed encountered was just a small fraction of the culture of racism and hatred toward Black Africans. They didn't care that he was famous. They didn't care that he was a superstar. They didn't care that he took this time out to come and visit them. To a lot of the Arabs there, he wasn't a Abid. To a lot of the Arabs there, he was just another nigger. And that's how they treated him. Yes, there are probably lots of children there who are happy to see him. The problem is the culture there. The problem is that there's slavery there, that people who look just like him are out there working the fields, or they're sex slaves, or they work long hours, or they work unfair with no wages at all, and sleep out in the barn with the animals in the cold of the night, and all those things. People who look just like him are treated as less than human. All he is someone who happens to have a lot of money, still less than human. And that's what he encountered there. Now, the thing that makes this very significant is two things. One, without really doing this I don't think it is on purpose. IShowSpeed has brought this conversation to the forefront in a very, very unique way. A lot of other influencers now are talking about what happened to him in Algeria. Black influencers, people who weren't even involved in this, saying stuff like, I didn't know that there was such a culture of racism in the Arab world. I didn't know that there was slavery. I'm doing my research now and I'm finding out about slavery and slavery happening right now. Like, what the heck? I didn't realize it. Yes. And the thing that makes it even more powerful, and I say this in the video that we just produced, that we just put out now, we just published it yesterday. And we have an article that's out now too. We have an article, by the way, in our Substack. It's our latest article. I was just looking at it right now. Sometimes I forget the titles because I'll write it and then I'll give it to our editor without a title. But the title is IShowSpeed shows Arab racism or slavery of Black Africans. It's our latest article. Go to ibsi.substack.com, spread it everywhere, show it to everyone, share it, read it, share it out. And the thing that's very significant about this, and we note this several times, is that IShowSpeed is not a Zionist by any means. He's 10 toes down, free Palestine. And this is something that I really want you all to understand. Now, I'm talking a little bit of inside baseball here for people who are watching, who are already pro-Israel. You guys are Zionists. You know, you're watching this because you support our work and everything. It's important to understand process, right? Yes, IShowSpeed is anti-Zionist. It's going to be harmful for you or for us to then take this experience and shove it in his face and say, haha, that's what you get. That's how stupid you are for doing the free Palestine BS. That's what you get. That's not, no. Because people sometimes just, they link up with friends and they have these people and they think this is the truth, right? And when you, like Maya Angelou said, when you know better, you do better. Sometimes that doesn't always happen for some people, but they need the opportunity sometimes to be confronted with something that goes completely against what their pattern of thought is. So the fact that IShowSpeed is anti-Zionist, he said free Palestine to a friend in Algeria. He has it on live stream doing that. The fact that he has aligned himself with the anti-Israel crowd, yet on his streaming site, which is the largest streaming site in the world, everyone got to see the racism in North Africa. Everyone got to see the Arab Islamic racism against Blacks from his page. That makes it so much more powerful. Why? You can't accuse him of being, you can't accuse him of being a tool of something or other. Oh, you're a tool of the Zionist regime. No, he did this on his own accord because he wanted to show the world Africa. And what did the world see when he went to North Africa? Racism. And then when some people dug deeper, what they find? Slavery. He did more to expose that than anyone in the prose space has ever done. And he didn't even mean to do that, right? That's what makes that very powerful. We need to allow this young man to just let these things unfold. And for all those millions of people who are watching him, and this is where part of our role comes in, is to kind of steer that. Here's what I mean by that. In the late 60s and early 70s, former Black Panther, the late Eldridge Cleaver, he was a former Minister of Information for the Black Panther Party. Very radical, very anti-America, anti-Israel. I mean, his speeches, his book, Soul on Ice. I mean, he was a radical to the core. People still actually quote his earlier works as inspiration. Eldridge Cleaver was fleeing the authorities. He left the country, spent 7 years outside of the U.S., mainly in Algeria specifically in Algeria, the capital, and Cuba. He met with Yasser Arafat. He was close friends with the Palestine Liberation Organization, the PLO. He had people in that organization who were lockstep with him, who were friends with him. And he went there for training. He went there to meet with people. He went there to be in solidarity with his Arab brothers and sisters, right? Okay. Without ever stepping foot in Israel, Eldridge Cleaver, just from seeing in Algeria slavery, racism, discrimination, the treating of Black people as less than humans, the treating of them like insects at times, he saw that and he came back to the States a completely changed man. He came back a loud and proud, staunch Zionist, and one of the biggest voices against the Arab supremacy and Arab racism of Africans and slavery of Africans in that time. when the United Nations passed the resolution 3379 that Zionism is racism in 1975, Eldridge Cleaver is one of the voices that spoke up against it. And one of the things that he said was that he's baffled by the fact that the Arabs, because this was unanimously passed by a voting bloc of Arab states and communist states, right? He said, he finds it very baffling that the Arabs would use the claim and hurl the claim racist at Israel when it can so easily be turned against them. What do you mean by that? You guys are hypocrites. He's like, I saw it. He never, to my knowledge, he never went to Israel. He just stayed in Algeria. And he went, wow, okay, so let me connect some dots here. You guys keep telling us that you're in solidarity with us. I come here to find that you are enslaving people who look like us while you're telling us that Israel's the racist one. How about you guys are full of crap and maybe you're pulling the wool over our eyes? I think you're lying to us. I think you're using Israel as a distraction from the slavery that you are continuing, that, by the way, has started in the 7th century and has never stopped. We're talking centuries and centuries of slavery that has not stopped. Eldridge Cleaver was able to connect those dots. What we are trying to do and what we are doing at the Institute for Black Solidarity with Israel is help facilitate those Eldridge Cleaver moments for these other young people who have the ability and the capability of connecting those same dots. Not everyone will. Not to be mean or whatever. Some people, they won't. They don't have the mental capacity to do it. They might see, oh, Arabs are racist, and I see that, or these Arabs, and there's slavery in the Arab world. Okay, I see that. But you know what? I think everything they're telling me about Israel is true. And so still F Israel, and I don't stand with Israel. Some people are just going to be like that, right? But you're going to have a large contingency of people who are going to see the slavery and say, wait a second, you guys are the ones who are telling us that Israel's racist. You can't be the arbiter. You're not any kind of arbiter on racism because you have slaves. You guys are stuck in the Stone Ages right now. You still buy and sell and trade human bodies for profit and force them to work with no pay and no workable work environments, no nothing, and you beat them and you kill them. And in some of these countries, one of the punishments, if you try to escape or if you don't do your job well, I talked about this with our dear friend Charles Jacobs. One of the punishments is for a slave who's being punished, like maybe they're whether it's death or just to hurt them. One of the punishments is that there's a certain bug that like bores. They shove that bug in their ear. I'm not trying to be gruesome, but it's the truth. And they tie these bandages tightly around their ears, the slave's ears, like that, so that they can't get it off. And they're tie their arms up and everything so they can't do anything about it. And they just watch them go crazy as the bug drills itself into their ear hole all the way into their brain. That's just one of the many punishments. This has been going on for centuries. So again, for those Black Americans who may have been standing against Israel, when they see things like this, as they're digging and they go, wait, there's still slavery going on? For some of them, they're going to say, hold on a second. You guys are the ones who keep telling us that Israel's an apartheid state and Israel's racist and it's a Jim Crow state. And you guys are doing worse than what you're calling Israel. So even if I were to believe the lies you're telling about Israel, you guys have slaves. I think you're lying to me. That's what's going to happen. And that's what we're helping facilitate at IPSI. And we're having these conversations in real time. IPSI has, I personally, as a representative of IPSI, have some meetings coming up with people, with young Black, whether students, leaders, who have recently come to realize that the pro-Palestine side is full of lies. And so they've been following IPSI, they've been following Pastor Dumisani, they've been following me, and they've been like, okay, the work you guys, I can't believe it. The work you guys are doing is right where I'm at right now. Like and so we're having these conversations. Let me give you another inside baseball thing. I might be getting on my soapbox here, but I need to get on it just for a moment. And feel free to post questions in the chat, you guys. Feel free as I'm going through this. One of the biggest errors that we, and when I say we, I mean we in the pro-Israel community tend to make when it comes to these transformations. We immediately want to take these people and parade them around and give them a speaking tour all over the world and show everyone that, hey, look at this person, look at this black person, look at this Arab person, whatever, who used to hate Israel and doesn't hate Israel anymore. One of the pitfalls that we fall into, especially when it comes to young people, college age, fresh out of college, is that we don't give them the space to let some of the things that they're learning marinate and to learn what they can. For whoever's watching, someone needs to hear this. Please let them breathe. Turn off the branding, how am I going to build my platform button for just a minute. Turn that dial down and just focus on forming a relationship with them first, where you can talk, you can be friends, you can teach them things, you can show them things, and let that thing grow internally. Let it grow naturally. Let them grow into this thing. I've come across students who very recently realized, I didn't realize what happened on October 7th. I thought it was this and that, and I was told this and that. And I think, I realized that the Free Palestine crowd was lying to me. Okay, that's a great place to start. It's not time now for them to go on a worldwide speaking tour. No, that's the last thing. The first thing needs to be an interpersonal thing. Hey, you know what? My door is open. If you ever need to talk, I'm here. Here's my email, here's my number, here's a number to our staff or whatever. And let's set up, let's become friends. Let's talk on a weekly basis. I want to answer any questions you have. That's where I know that with these organizations, we got to raise money and there's donors. We're always trying to raise money, right? We're always short on stuff. We're trying to get money together, but it does, in the long run, it can do you more harm than good. I know people, and my late wife, we talked about this because she knows as well, personally, former friends of hers in South Africa where that happened exactly. Friends who, she had a young friend, same thing. She just kind of stepped into this Zionist space. She didn't start off anti-Zionist, but she was a young student. She was at a rally or she was at an event. She was asked to speak. And her first speech, she said some really great things about Israel. The crowd went crazy. And then she became the poster child, right? And then what happened was, as she was growing in her work, she had questions, not questions like, I'm going to start hating Israel now, but they're just questions that, sometimes there are questions that they're specific for IPSI, that we have these black conversations that pertain to us, but also involve Israel and the Jewish people. Things that, because of our purview, because of our perspective, that we can grapple with without we can grapple with and make sure that it doesn't venture into anti-Semitism, right? There are things that need to be discussed. And so she would ask certain questions and she would get dismissed. She would ask certain questions, she would get shut down. And that kept happening, and that kept happening, and that kept happening until she got fed up and she finally left the organization altogether left the movement. Now she's one of the biggest, not biggest, but she has a really loud anti-Israel voice in South Africa. Okay. This happens. I have several examples of just South Africa, but others in the States as well. And the problem is, and again, just a little bit of inside baseball, I'm just going to say it. The tokenism does go both ways. It can. It really can, you guys. The Free Palestine side does it, and they don't have the truth on their side, and we have the truth on our side. But there's sometimes that tokenism that goes both ways. Okay. See, the Free Palestine side, their thing is they actually hate black people. And they're using black people for their cause while they're enslaving black people, right? Once they don't need black people anymore, they're going to toss them. It's been happening already. The Free Palestine side has been fraying for the past few years because black people in the movement have been noticing how dad-blasted racist these Free Palestine Arabs can be, right? So that's a double negative. But here in the pro-Israel camp, there's a little bit of that as well. There's not a hatred that's there. There's love there. But there is that, ooh, you're black. I just heard you say something pro-Israel. Let's now take you on this thing so I can say, look at this black person who loves Israel. Okay? We got to be careful Not everyone who says one or two good things about Israel is a friend, first of all. But secondly, sometimes they just need a moment. You gotta give them some space. You gotta let them grow. You got to form a friendship. Don't worry about getting them on your podcast right away. Don't worry about being the first person to be seen next to this person. Don't worry. Just build a relationship first. Let those things grow. Let it become organic, and that'll take hold. That won't slip away. It becomes more than just window dressing. It becomes a real thing. My wife's bones are buried in Haifa, Israel. This is a real thing for me. It has been for a long time. It got more real last year when she died and when she was buried in Israel. No amount of screaming and yelling and free Palestine, anything will ever get me to abandon what I know is true. You want things to be that real for others. It's not just a foot race, you guys. This is a marathon, and we have to be able to endure to the end. Okay, off my soapbox. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to take a pause for a second and say welcome if you're just tuning in. This is the Institute for Black Solidarity with Israel, our forum on Israel, Africa, and Black America. I'm your host, Joshua Washington, the executive director of the Institute for Black Solidarity with Israel. We have a lot more people here than when we first started, so I just want to say shout out to Los Angeles. February the 1st, I will be in LA with our CEO and founder at Valley Beth Shalom in Encino, California, for a beautiful event called Africa to Israel, Our Bridge to Zion. You guys, producer, please put that poster up there one more time. Listen, you guys, February the 1st. February the 1st, 7 p.m. You have to be there. It's going to be a concert like no other. If you are in Southern California, scan that QR code right now and register. Get your tickets and come out and see us. If you love the music, if you like what you hear, I will be in LA for one more day as well for a separate show. It's a private show I'm doing in Beverly Hills on the 2nd. So Sunday, February 1st, we'll be at VBS. And then if you want information about the show on the 2nd, if you're in LA, I'll have posters, I'll have flyers there. Just come to me and I'll give you a flyer, or I'll just send you a link or whatever. Come to the show on the 2nd in Beverly Hills as well. I'll be there. I'll be in LA for a couple of days. I would love to see you. And talk to you and hang out. A couple of my sisters are going to be there. On the 1st, we have a full band. We got a choir. It's going to be amazing. And on the 2nd, I got my sisters. I got a string quartet. It's just a couple of days of great music. Okay. It's going to be amazing. One announcement I forgot to give, and I'll give this next week. So there's no poster. I apologize. I didn't send our producer this poster, but there is a poster. I will be in Pittsburgh. I'll be in Pittsburgh forgive me because this slipped my mind, but February the 5th at Temple Emmanuel of I want to say North Hills. Temple Emmanuel of South Hills. Temple Emmanuel of South Hills on February the 5th. I am doing it's a Journey to Healing mini concert and Q&A through Stand With Us. I did another event like that a couple months ago in Philadelphia. It was beautiful. So I'll be in Pittsburgh. If you are in Pittsburgh on February the 5th, come out. I'm doing a mini concert. I'm giving a talk. I'm talking about the work we do at IPSI, talking about Olga's legacy, talking about a whole host of things. I'll be answering your questions. I'll be there. I'll be there to hang. It'll be lots of fun. So you guys, please come out. I'd love to see you there. That's going to be fantastic. Okay. Now, last thing, I'm just going to touch on this. And I think that either I will or our CEO will deal with this next week. But we're going to talk about Iran for just a moment, you guys. The fact that President Trump encouraged the Iranian people to go out and to protest and then did nothing and has still been doing. I know people have been posting about, he said help is on the way. Oh, the Armada is getting ready, and let something happen while we're on this live stream. I could be wrong. Maybe something's happening right now. Let's see right now if anything has happened. Yeah, moving. Nothing's happened, right? We keep getting announcements of things about to happen. The fact that our president told the Iranian people and encouraged them to go out and protest, and tens of thousands of them have been slaughtered, 50,000 or more. The numbers are, a lot of people say the numbers are much higher. People in Iran are saying it's much higher than that. People are being slaughtered and killed, blinded, decapitated, all that stuff, shot down. That's wrong. Now, hear what I'm saying, because when we're posting about this, you have people who, especially social media, everyone always misinterprets everything. We're not saying that America needs to go out and bomb every country that they think is doing something wrong. We're specifically saying, Mr. President, if you are going to encourage the Iranian people to go out there and say, go, we have your back, you fight for your freedom, go ahead and do it, and then we just sit back while 50,000+ of them get slaughtered and we still haven't done anything. God's going to hold us accountable for that. Their blood is on our hands because we told them, as the most powerful nation in the world, you guys do your thing. We got you. Go out and do your thing. What have we been doing since then? Now, not only have we been doing nothing, but what did Trump do? He formed the Board of Peace. What countries are on the Board of Peace? Qatar, Syria, Saudi Arabia. Interesting. By the way, Syria is still slaughtering religious minorities. Not only is nothing being done, but Trump is buddies with Al-Jilani. Right? There's some stuff going on, and the silence of many pro-Israel communities is very damning, and it's very concerning. Our CEO and founder posted this last week. There are two types of Trump derangement syndrome. One for whom Trump can never do anything right. The other is for whom Trump can never do anything wrong. That's exactly where we are now. We'll get more into that soon. But we've been watching, we've been monitoring what's going on in Iran with the people of Iran, fighting to throw off the regime. It's still not lost on me and us. I mean, let's not have short-term memory loss here, that Israel was most likely just maybe a couple of weeks away from completely dismantling Iran's nuclear system. And the Trump administration said, stop, no more. So people say, oh, but we literally dropped bombs on Russia. We literally dropped bombs on Iran. Yeah, we did do that. And then we stopped Israel from finishing the job. And now look at Iran. It's more incapacitated than it was before, but it still has teeth and it's slaughtering its own people. And we're sitting back and doing nothing. What is that? All right, you guys. So I want to remind you, February 12th through the 14th, you guys, we're going to be in Ethiopia. I'm excited about this. We're going to be in Ethiopia for the Young Leaders Conference, February 12th through the 14th. It's our first ever Young Leaders Conference. It's going to be incredible. We have Black leaders from all over the world, Africans and those in the diaspora from all over the world. We're going to be in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, having these very crucial discussions and talking about, like what we've been talking about here, the future is Israel Africa, and what that really looks like and how that really can benefit the continent in a huge, huge way. My late wife Olga always said, she said, yes, America is Israel's most, what is it at the time? They're partners, right? She said, but Africa is Israel's most strategic partner. For so many reasons that we are going to discuss in Ethiopia. It's going to be incredible. You guys pray for us. Shout out to Pastor Habte for also really doing a lot of legwork and putting this together. Shout out to our staff at IPSI. There's a lot that's going into this. We're going to have an amazing time, and it's going to be intense, but it's going to be very, very good, and we're excited about that. You guys, it's going to be amazing. Okay. Last but not least, I just want to reiterate a couple of things. Again, for those who are watching now, if this is your first time, welcome. You can go to ibsi.org, check out what we do. why we do what we do, the impetus for it, the precedence for it, and the importance of it now. To go more in depth, go to our Substack, ibsi.substack.com. Check out our articles, our podcast episodes. You can see more in depth. The latest article that just came out is one that I pinned about IShowSpeed in Algeria and the racism he faced there, and how that's an outgrowth of the slavery that still exists. Millions of African slaves across North Africa. I talk about that in my latest piece in our Substack. If you already know us and you already love us and you want to support us, we would greatly appreciate it. You can become a legacy builder, ibsi.org/donate, and you can set up a monthly donation. Why don't you as I'm talking, you can set that up right now. Go to ibsi.org/donate and set up your $20 a month, $50, $18, $10, whatever you can. The monthly donations are ones that really help us to keep moving forward and doing what we need to do in Black and Jewish and Africa, Israel solidarity. And then lastly, you can visit our merch store. If you don't have a t-shirt yet, if you don't have a mug, if you don't have a journal, you can purchase those and you can have something to show for your support of the Institute for Black Solidarity with Israel. All right, you guys. Again, I'll be in California next week. February 1st is an IPSI event. And then February 2nd, I got a concert going on in Beverly Hills. So hit me up. Let me know. It's going to be an amazing time in Cali altogether. I'll be in Northern and Southern California. IPSI has a big event February 1st with VBS. Africa to Israel, our bridge to Zion. You guys scan that QR code and come out. I'd love to see you. And I'd love to spend some time with you, and we all would. All right, you guys. That is it for our session today. I want to remind you, everyone, to please, if you already do give to IPSI, share our work with your friends and family. Let them know about what we do and help us to get the support we need to continue doing what we're doing, and to continue facilitating these conversations. There is a big shift happening. IPSI has its fingers on the pulse, and we are right there in the midst of it, facilitating these, not just discussions, but these action items as well. We're excited to share all that with you. All right. Thank you all so very much. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it, you guys. Have a good rest of your week, and we'll see you soon.